Every Saturday, we bring you Chairman's Briefing, where we keep you in the know on metals and money in just a few minutes. My name is Rachel Lee, and this episode is brought to you by Lahontan Gold and Viva Gold. So the U.S. government shutdown is over, but gold is not backing down. The metal continues recovering from last month's sell-off, holding support above recent lows. Now the focus is shifting to something far more consequential: U.S. debt that nobody knows how to fix. U.S. President Donald Trump has been promising Americans $2,000 checks using tariff revenue and even floated the idea of 50-year mortgages. Of course, these spending proposals are piling on to an already unsustainable deficit. Now here's where it gets even more compelling for both gold and silver. The U.S. Treasury saw weaker than expected participation in bond auctions this week. Investors are weary of lending money to the U.S. government. So when confidence in treasuries erodes, we can see that gold and silver become the alternative. Now that's what's keeping prices supported right now. The Federal Reserve has been cutting interest rates, and that's pushing both stocks and gold higher. Cheaper borrowing means that there's more money flowing into these assets. The S&P 500 is up 16% this year, which sounds solid until you look at gold. Gold is up 60%. Mike McLowan at Bloomberg Intelligence thinks that this gap is about to widen even more. He's tracking the S&P to gold ratio, which just hit near its lowest level since March 2020. U.S. stock market wealth is now over twice the GDP, which is the highest in a century, but stocks are still struggling to hold their ground against gold. What makes this even more striking is how calm the market seems to feel. The VIX is below 18, meaning volatility is low. Mike McLowan says that gold has never rallied this fast, while stock volatility stays somewhat subdued. When that complacency finally breaks, stocks could face a severe downturn. Next up is some big news for Lahontan Gold. The Bureau of Land Management just greenlit expanded exploration at the company's Santa Fe mine project in Nevada. The new permit covers over 700 drill holes targeting geologic and geochemical anomalies well beyond currently defined gold and silver resources. Priority targets include the Pinnacles area and the Guzzler target, which is south of the Santa Fe open pit. Calling this a landmark milestone, CEO Kimberly Ann says that the company is now positioned to unlock the full potential of its strategic land position in Nevada's Walker Lane. Barrick Mining released Q3 results on Monday, and while production and earnings fell slightly short of estimates, the company bumped its base quarterly dividend by 25% and added a performance dividend of 5 cents per share. The bigger story is what interim CEO Mark Hill is addressing internally. After worker deaths at 3 different operations, plus an equipment failure at the Carlin complex, Barrick is reviewing operations to improve worker safety and curtail unplanned downtime. Once safety is in line, Hill expects to see an uptick in production and more efficient operations. On the growth side, Barrick is dramatically expanding their exploration plans at its Fourmile Project in Nevada. 16 drill rigs are currently turning, with 4 more to be added in 2026. Viva Gold is advancing the Tonopah Gold Project in Nevada, one of the most prolific mining districts in North America. Tonopah historically produced over 174 million ounces of silver and 1.8 million ounces of gold. They control a large land package with existing infrastructure, including roads, power, and water, which reduces development risk and capital costs. The near-surface oxide deposit is amenable to heap leach processing, which is a proven low-cost extraction method. CEO James Hesketh and I talk about the project's economic potential that was released to the market a few months ago. You can watch the interview just above. Canada Nickel's Crawford Project has been selected for Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney's second round of nation-building projects. The proposal will be sent to the Major Projects Office, which fast-tracks approvals for projects that can jumpstart the economy. The Crawford Project is a proposed open-pit, zero-emission nickel mine about 40 kilometers north of Timmins, Ontario. CEO Mark Selby said that the goal is to be in production by 2027. 2 processing facilities are needed for nickel and stainless steel production. This federal support could significantly accelerate the timeline for the company. The U.S. Energy Department is going all in on nuclear power. Energy Secretary Chris Wright has said that most of the department's loan office money will go toward building new reactors quickly. Billions in equity financing will be matched with low-cost debt in a 4-to-1 ratio to accelerate construction. President Trump has signed an executive order back in May calling for 10 new large reactors with complete designs by 2030. Wright has said that he wants to see dozens of nuclear plants under construction before leaving office in 3 years. Now, to put this all into perspective, traditionally, nuclear construction in the U.S. has been slow, with only 3 reactors completed in this past century. London silver vaults just added nearly 54 million troy ounces in October, which is the largest inflow in at least 9 years. This eased an extreme squeeze that had sent London spot prices soaring as much as $3 an ounce above New York and Shanghai. Well, what happened here is that London inventories hit an all-time low earlier this year after tariff fears sparked a massive outflow to New York. Then in early October, a spike in Indian demand and a wave of buying for silver-backed ETFs hit the market. So there was just not enough silver left in London vaults to meet demand. And of course, that created this big historic arbitrage opportunity. Traders had withdrawn metal from US and Chinese vaults and flew it to London to capture the price gap. TD Securities analyst Daniel Gawley estimates that there are now nearly 200 million ounces of silver freely available to buy or borrow. He said that this marks the end of this silver squeeze chapter. And that's your briefing for this week. Make sure to subscribe to this channel before you go, as it does mean a lot to us here on the CEO.CA team. My name is Rachel Lee. Thank you for watching.